Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are resuming in part 2, higher tier paper 2 June 2023 Maths Edexcel. We did till question 12 in part 1, and in part 2 we are continuing questions from question number 13. Well, we are running Christmas offer, and in that Christmas offer I'm doing a live classes on paper solving and mock paper solving at just £4 per hour, and GCSE classes are at just £6 per hour, and A-level classes I'm giving straight 30% discount. So if you want to enroll or you want to book a free demo for any subject from year 1 to year 13, just email us at edexacademy@gmail.com. So I have tutors for all the subjects. They are pretty good, and you can avail a very high discount. Well, throughout the year you can avail the discounts, and on special occasion the discounts will be more. So at low cost you'll be able to get more quality tutoring. Okay, now let me start with the question number 13. Basically, it's a triangle given, and we have to calculate the size of angle BAC. Angle BAC, that means this one. Many people, like many students, they get confused in locating the angle. So you just need to see BAC. That means start with B, then comes to A, and then goes to C. Basically, they have given the path. And this one, the center one, the angle would be at that one. So basically, this one is your angle BAC, and that they are asking you to calculate. Obviously, this is not a right angle triangle, so the trigonometric ratios, that is the sine, cos, tan, you cannot apply there. In that case, you have to go for either sine rule or cosine rule. For cosine rule, it would be if 3 sides and 1 included angle is given. So maybe 2 sides and 1 included angle is given, and you have to calculate the third side. Or 1 included angle, you can say 1 included angle they're asking you to calculate, and 3 sides are given. So it has to do with the 3 sides and 1 included angle. When you see such combination, there we use cosine. But here there is an involvement of 2 angles and 2 sides. In that case, I will go for sine rule. So I'll apply sine rule. In order to find this angle, I should know this side, which we don't have. So there is one more thing what we can do is, if I can calculate this angle. Because if we know the 2 angles of a triangle, it's very easy to calculate the third one. So here, what we can do, let me find this angle. Why? Because sine rule says sine of angle C and divided by the opposite side. So opposite side is 15. Don't learn it right, sine of A over small a equals sine of B over small b equals sine of C over small c, and then you'll get confused. Maybe here they have given the labeling ABC. What if ABC is not even given in the question? They haven't given, they just gave this, and then what will you do? If you cannot get if you're okay, you know that how to name ABC, it's perfectly fine. But if you don't know, the best thing is sine of angle and an opposite side always is equals to sine of angle 70 degrees, which is this, and divided by its opposite side, which is 18. From here, I can say sine of angle C is equals to sine of 70 times 15 over 18. I can solve it and give me 0.783. But we want to calculate C, not sine of C. Sine of C, I know it's 0.783. But then we have to calculate angle C. So angle C is sine inverse of 0.783, which is angle 51.5. So this value is 51.5, and now it's much easier to calculate the remaining one. Just add these two up and subtract from 180 and you'll get the answer. So angle A is what? 180 minus 70 plus 51.5. Why? Because sum of all the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So from here, I'll get my answer as 58.5. So final answer is 58.5. Moving on to the next one. Show that x squared minus x minus 6 over 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 can be written in the form of ax plus b over cx plus d, where a, b, c, d are integers. It means they have simplified it. That's it. This is quadratics. If you want to simplify it, you have to factorize the quadratics. And we know how to factorize it. If the equation is given, the quadratic equation, the general formula is ax squared plus bx plus c. The sum of the roots, you have to think of two numbers. Their sum should be equals to b, and product should be equals to a times c always. For the first one, x squared minus x minus 6. So here, I have to think of two numbers. Their sum should be equals to -1 and product should be equals to -6. This is very easy to find two numbers, but if some harder numbers are given, always start with the product part. This is -6. You have to, maybe like if 56 is given or 64 or any number they're given and you want to find two numbers, always starts by finding factors of that number. If you will be having factors of that number, the product of two numbers, the combination, like suppose for 64, I would say 8 times 8 would be one number, 32 times 2 would be another, 64 times 1 would be another. So you have to find pairs of numbers and then you have to see if you add them up, which will be according to the question, which number falls or correctly fits in. Here the product is -6 and sum is -1, so this is very easy. Two numbers are -3 and +2. So -3 plus 2 will give you -1 and -3 times 2 will give you -6. So two numbers are directly x minus 3 times x plus 2. Now see for this one, which is 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. Here we have to find the sum of two numbers. The sum should be equals to b, which is -5, and product should be equals to a times c, which is 2 times -3, which is -6. But here, if you're finding two numbers, don't do directly like this. This is a short way. When the coefficient of x squared is 1. Coefficient, that means the number written with x squared is 1. There's nothing, you can't see any number, that means it's 1. But for the denominator, it's actually 2. So after finding the numbers, you can't just directly write those numbers. Like in the numerator, we found two numbers, -3 and +2. For the bottom one, when you find the two numbers, you cannot do like that directly. So here the sum is -5 and product is -6. So the two numbers are -6 and +1. So -6 and +1, clearly the sum is -5 and product is -6. Now again I'll be saying, because the coefficient of x squared is 2, you cannot directly say the factors are x minus 6 and x plus 1. No. For that, you have to factorize it in a conventional way, which is called factorizing the middle term or splitting the middle term. So split this middle term. The two numbers we have found is negative 6 and positive 1. So here I'll be doing, so negative 5x can be written as negative 6x plus 1 because that two numbers I have found. So 2x squared minus 6x plus x minus 3. Now I need to make factors, like these two and these two. So I have to take out 2x as common, remaining is x minus 2. X minus 3. Plus here I cannot take anything out as common, so it's just 1, which I can write as 1, which is x minus 3. Now we have again two different terms, and out of them I can take out x minus 3 as common. So remaining is 2x plus 1. So finally I can write, well, I'm not having enough space, so I'm just deleting it here, this part. So x squared minus x minus 6 can be written as x plus 3 times, x minus 3 times x plus 2 over 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 can be written as x minus 3 times 2x plus 1. You can clearly see these two can be cancelled out easily, and the remaining is x plus 2 over 2x plus 1, which is definitely in this form. So I can say A is your 1, B is 2, C is 2, D is 1. Now the next is, here the first four terms of a quadratic sequence 3, 9, 17, 27, and we have to find an expression in terms of n for the nth terms of this sequence. So to calculate the nth term, you first have to find the common difference. So I'm just writing 3, 9, 17, 27. Well, if you are not aware, subtracting is a way to know whether it's a linear or a quadratic sequence. But here it's already mentioned that it's a quadratic sequence. So 9 minus 3 is 6. 17 minus 9 is 8. 27 minus 17 is 10. The difference is not common. There is no single common difference. I have to do it again. 8 minus 6, 2. 10 minus 8 is 2. Right. So I got now the common difference that you always have to equate with 2a. So on equating it with 2a, this number, it can be 3, 4, whatever this number, always equate it with 2a. That will give you a as 1. Once you have this value, why I have to find a? Because the standard expression of nth term of a quadratic sequence is an squared plus bn plus c. So I have to find basically a, b and c. I got a. That means this is 2n squared. So there are different ways by which you can solve it. Either you can go the bigger method, and there is a smaller method as well. The smaller method says you have a now. So what you need to do is you just have to substitute a here, which is 1n squared. That is n squared plus bn plus c. Now it's very easy to find b, c. How? Because n represents the number of term here. This means if I put n equals 1, I should get 3 as my answer. So when I put 1 plus b plus c, this should be equals to 3. Now in the same equation, if I put n equals 2, that means the second term, that's why n equals 2, I should get 9 as the answer. So putting here as 2, so 4 plus 2b plus c is equals to 9. This will give me two simultaneous equations, which is much easier to solve. So b plus c is equals to 2 and 2b plus c is equals to 5. Now you have to make the coefficient same, or directly C has already the same coefficient, so I'm just subtracting here. This will give me negative B, and this is negative 3. So B is 3. If B is 3, put it here. So I'll get C as negative 1. If I put it here, the value of B as 3, I'll get C as negative 1. Now I have A, B, C. I just need to write down finally. So A is 1. This is my standard equation. So A is 1, B is 3, and C is negative 1. So final answer is n squared plus 3n minus 1. There is another way as well in which you have to write the n series, then original series, then subtract this. That's a very long method and a very confusing one. So this is much more preferable according to me. Now, question number 16 says the histogram gives information about the number of hours some students used their phones last week. The histogram is incomplete. 28 students used their phones for between 30 to 40 hours. It means the frequency is 28. So don't say that this is 28. No. This is frequency density. So first thing is frequency density. The formula to calculate frequency density is frequency over class interval. If I want to know the frequency density, I do have frequency which is 28. And class interval is between 30 to 40, which is 10. 40 minus 10 will give you class interval. What's in between 30 to 40? That's a 10. So here frequency density is 28 and class interval is 10. So 2.8, which means this is 2.8. Isn't it very clear to see that if this is 2.8, then it means this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Even I need not to do any sort of calculation. Just by looking at it, I can easily understand. But if you don't know, it's simple. At 2.8, you have to calculate how many blocks, at what number of blocks it is. Say, for example, this block is mainly, suppose as 14th place, you will get 2.8. So you will be doing 2.8 divided by 14. Here you have done 2.8 divided by 28. That would give you basically 0.1. It means it gave you an idea that each square represents negative 1 in y direction. So that's why it helped me in finding the each block. So that's how I have labeled it. So 1, 2, 3 represents this. So I have completed this part. I have to complete the next one, 40 to 60, this part. It says 24 students use their phones for between 40 to 60. Again, I have to calculate the frequency density for 40 to 60. So frequency density is 40 to 60, frequency is 24, and class interval is 60 minus 40, which is 20. That's 1.2. 1.2 is here. So that means I have to draw a line 40 to 60 like this. So this is how I have completed it. The next says, no student used their phone for more than 60 hours. Work out the total number of students. So if nobody has attended greater than 60, so total number of students are the frequency. That means frequency of this plus frequency of this plus frequency of this plus frequency of this will give you total students. Frequency of each block, each rectangle is representing the total number of students that are using phones between that period of hours. So I have to calculate. I already have the frequency densities. I have to find the frequencies using the same formula. Frequency density is frequency over class interval. Now if I cross multiply, so this will give me the formula to calculate frequency. So I can say frequency would be class interval multiplied by frequency density. So class interval is, for the first one, class interval is 20. 0 to 20, that means 20 minus 0. Class interval is 20. And frequency density is here, which is, you can see, 1.6. Answer is 32. So there are 32 students. They are using the phones between 0 to 20 hours. Between 20 to 30, frequency density is 3.6. So again, frequency would be class interval 20 to 30, which is 10. 30 minus 20, 10. Frequency density is clearly 3.6. It will give you 36. So we have already calculated 32 for 0 to 20, 20 to 30 is 36. For 30 to 40, 28 is already given, and 24 is already given for it. So the total number of students would be 32 plus 36 plus 28 plus 24, which is 120. So answer is 120 finally. Moving on to the next one. Show that the equation x to the power of 4 minus x squared minus 5 equals 0 can be written in this form. So there is a fourth power over it. That means x to the power of 4 will be the subject. So x to the power of 4 is equals to, I'm bringing x squared and negative 5 onto right hand side, which will give me x squared plus 5. And then I need to take 4th root to both the sides. So x is equals to 4th root of x squared plus 5. So yeah, it can be written like this. Now starting with x naught or x0 equals 1.5, use the iteration formula xn plus 1 equals root of xn squared plus 5, 4th root of 3 times to find an estimate for the solution. See, we know we have calculated x is equals to root 4th root of x squared plus 5. So now I have written xn here, and this would be xn squared plus 5 and 4th root, and this would be xn plus 1. That means if it's written as x0, so here n is equals to 0. That's the meaning of it. So in place of n, I'll write 0. So this will become 0 plus 1 x1 equals root of x naught squared plus 5, 4th root of it. The value of x0 is already given, which is 1.5. So this is going to be 4th root of 1.5 whole squared plus 5, which is equals to 1.6409, so on. For x2, this will be root of x1 whole squared plus 5, 4th root, because in the same formula now I have substituted xn as 1. So this will become x2 4th root of x1 squared plus 5. x1 we just calculated, which was 1.6409. This will give you 1.6409 whole squared plus 5, 4th root of it, this whole value, right? Not just till 9. Whatever the value your calculator is providing you, square it, add 5 and take the 4th root, which will give you 1.6653 and so on. Now we have to calculate x3. So again, x3 is what? They are asking us to put n is equals to 2. So in this formula, when I put n equals 2, this will give me x3 root of x squared plus 5, 4th root of it. And this one will give me 1.6653 whole squared plus 5 fourth root of it, which will finally give me 1.6697, so on. So these are the estimates for the solution, and they're asking 3 times, so that's why we have calculated x1, x2 and x3. Moving on to the next question. 2a ratio 5c is equals to 6 ratio 25. So 2a is to 5c is equals to 6 is to 25, and 4b is to 7c is equals to 20 is to 21. Show that a plus b is to b plus c is equals to 70 is to 20. It means 2a is to 5c, that means 2a divided by 5c is 6 by 25. If I'll simplify it, I will get, this is ratio. So if I cross multiply, or I can directly simplify denominator and denominator, numerator and numerator. So 5 times 5, 2 times 3. If you think that this is a little harder for you to understand, let me do the cross multiplication. That means it will go up there, it will go up there. Or in order to remove this number, I'll multiply 5 to both the sides. So this will become 2a over c is equals to 6 into 5 over 25. Similarly, to remove 2 from here, I'll divide 2 to both the sides. So this will be a over c, and 6 into 5 over 25 times 2. 5 times 5, 2 times 3. So a over c is 3 over 5, or I can say a is to c is 3 is to 5. Similarly, I can simplify 4a over 7c is equals to 20 over 21. Multiply both the sides by 7, you'll get 4a over c is equals to 20 into 7 over 21. Divide both the sides by 4, a over c is equals to 20 into 7 over 21 into 4. 7 times 3, 4 times 5. So a ratio c is 5 ratio 3. So what's given here, I'm sorry, I've been writing a, it's b. So b ratio c is 5 ratio 3. Now what's given? A ratio c we have calculated, b ratio c we have calculated. So ultimately a ratio b ratio c is what? This can be written as, to make it more simplified, c is to b would be 3 is to 5. So c and c, if I just want to combine it, what I need to do, I have to multiply, I have to make this and this, their LCM should be same. So I have to make this 15. So this will be 3, so I have to multiply here 3. This will be 5, so I have to multiply this with 5. So a ratio c is 9 ratio 15, and c ratio b is 15 ratio 25. So finally, a ratio c ratio b will be 9 ratio 15 ratio 25. We have calculated the ratio of each. A plus b is ratio b plus c is 17 over 20, or is to 20. Simple. If a is 9, c is 15, b is 25, they are in ratio. So whenever we convert ratio into numbers, I have to multiply with x. So a will be 9x, b will be 15x, c is 15x, and b is 25x. Just substitute here and see whether we are getting 7 over 20 or not. In place of a, so what they're asking us, it's, let me write it here, up here. A plus b over b plus c. A is 9x, b is 25x, 25x plus 15x. This will give you 34x and this will be 40x. X get cancelled out and this will be 17 over 20, which is 17 ratio 20, and hence we have shown it. So that's how you can calculate it. Question 9 says AB is a right angle triangle. AB is 9.3, correct to nearest millimeter. AC is 12.6, correct to nearest mm. Calculate lower bound for the size angle marked. Lower size. First of all, what is this angle? How can you calculate this angle? Obviously, I have to apply trigonometry to calculate angle. This is hypotenuse and this is opposite, which means we have to apply sine of x. So sine of x is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. So if I want to know the lower bound, the numerator has to be lower, but denominator has to be higher. Why? Because if your denominator is bigger, the whole value will be smaller. Say for example, y is equals to 1 over x. When I put x is equals to 1000, or let me start with 10. So 1 over 10 will give you 0.1 when x was 10. Let me increase the value of x to 100 now. So y will be 1 over 100, which will give you 0.01. So on increasing the value of x, the denominator, the value of y is increasing. That means the whole value is increasing. So if you are calculating the lower bound for angle, that means the numerator has to be smaller as it's directly proportional, but denominator has to be bigger. It works in inverse relationship. So that means for sine of x you get lowered. Opposite, it has to be lower bound, and hypotenuse has to be upper bound. So opposite is 9.3, correct to nearest mm. Correct to nearest mm, that means you have to divide 1 mm by 2. 1 mm by 2 will give you 0.5 mm. And this is how you will find the limits for accuracy. Nearest to whatever they have given, just divide it by 2. So nearest to millimeters, so 1 millimeter divided by 2 will give me 0.5 mm. Well, let me convert it into centimeters, so 0.05 centimeters. To get the lower bound, I have to subtract 9.3 minus 0.05. So 9.3 minus 0.05. That will give me 9.25. So lower bound for opposite is 9.25 over upper bound. Upper bound has to be for hypotenuse, which is 12.6. Nearest to mm, that means again 1 divided by 2, 0.05 mm. And in centimeters, it will be 0.05 centimeters. So to get the upper bound, it has to be 12.6 plus 0.05, which is 12.65. On dividing sine x, finally x will be sine inverse of 9.25 over 12.65. And this will give you answer as 46.989, so on. And that's your final answer, which I can say 49.99. That would be the answer. So that's it for today. The remaining question, that is from 20 to 24, we'll be doing in the next video. So till then, if you want to access the free worksheets, free material, just visit edexcelacademy.com. And if you're looking for one-on-one classes or group classes, just email us at edexcelacademy@gmail.com. So that's it for today. Bye. Have a great day, everyone.